Hello and welcome to another video talking about LEGO magazines. Today we're going to talk about July's LEGO Star Wars magazine, issue 110. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I got the wrong one. Hello everybody and welcome to another video talking about the LEGO Star Wars magazine. Today we're talking about July's issue, issue 110. I'm sorry, I think I've got the wrong one. Hello and welcome to another video talking about the LEGO magazines. Today we're talking about the LEGO Star Wars magazine, July's issue, issue 110. Sorry, I think I've got the wrong one. Hello and welcome to another video talking about the LEGO magazines. Today we're talking about LEGO Star Wars' issue for July, issue 110. Sorry, I think I've got the wrong one. Hello and welcome to another video talking about the LEGO magazines. Today we're talking about the LEGO Star Wars magazine for July, issue 110. Sorry, I think I've got the wrong one. This isn't one I thought it was. I got an important question for you. How many are there? So this month's magazine had some variations, and that doesn't mean that there's one or two. It means that there is one, there is two, there is three, there is four, there is five, and there is two more variations that I don't have. One which just has two Y-wing bombers, and one that has an Imperial light cruiser as the second poly bag. So there is at least 7 different magazines for this month. I'm lost on words. I've not seen this before. This has happened before about a year ago, but there was only about 3 or 4 variants. This is a lot. And this isn't all recent ones either, because they switched to paper poly bags a long time ago. Yet this one with the Tusken Raider, this is actually a plastic poly bag. Look, that's the paper one, and here's the plastic one. You can actually tell by the glossiness, even on camera, you can kind of tell which one's the paper one, which one's the plastic one. You can see the glossiness on it. Sorry, the glossiness on it. So, there's multiple different variants for this month's LEGO Star Wars magazine. Something interesting to talk about is that there is actually going to be another Clone Trooper magazine coming out. We've got a leaked picture for the European magazine, which shows a white Clone Trooper, just a plain shiny, so that's going to be another magazine coming up. I'd imagine it'll be September, because the August version is going to be the Darth Vader magazine. So I'd imagine that'll be September, maybe October. But we do also have leaked I can't talk. But we do also have leaked pictures of a Sabine Wren poly bag, which again looks to be in the style of the magazines. So I'd imagine that will also be coming. If that's going to be the breaker period, then that would be September, making the shiny in October. Or we could be seeing it November, December. Seeing how it came in an expensive set, I'd imagine this would be December. Maybe December they'd put some kind of Christmas style figure in there, but I'd imagine it would be September. So Sabine Wren poly bag in the magazine, I'd expect that to be November, December. I'd be surprised if it was September, but that's when I'd imagine it to be coming around. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about some magazines. I got 2 that I'm going to open up here. One is a Y-wing one of them is a Scout Trooper. Let's talk about what's the same between each of them. First of all, this bit on the inside, this is going to be the same. If you buy one of these brick-built ones, let me move my mic a little. If you're going to buy one of these brick-built ones, I don't think it's going to tell you inside how to build it, because it doesn't say what the extra piece is on the front there, so that doesn't make me confident. The comic just seems to be a long story, as normal. They're showing off General Grievous figure, which is interesting, because we haven't had a Grievous in quite a long time. So we've had Anakin recently, we've had Obi-Wan recently. These aren't new figures. This Grievous looks to be the old one, but the fact that they're even showing Grievous suggests that he's going to be the next one up in the magazine. That's how the Minecraft magazine works, at least. They show characters and then later they end up being on the poly bag. So That's why I'm still saying for the Minecraft magazine we could see pillagers coming back at some point. We've seen a lot of Drowned in there, and the Drowned will keep making appearances in there. We've seen 2 characters that came from the Redstone machine set, I think, and both of them have ended up being in there. We've seen the characters from the castle set, and both of those have been in there. I think it's the crafting box. But my point is that the characters in the Minecraft magazine's comics keep showing up in the polybags, so it's possible we'll get the same for the actual comics in Star Wars magazines, but I wouldn't expect a Grievous polybag. Maybe that would be what the Christmas polybag could be, as a bit of a Christmas gift to LEGO fans, but I'd imagine that more means that in 2025 we'll be getting a Grievous set. That's what my expectation would be, especially since it would be the anniversary of Episode 3 coming up. It would make a lot of sense. Can't guarantee that, so just keep your eyes peeled, and that could be coming soon. Moving on, we have another comic which is including Captain Rex and the 501st. We've got a gunship here which I don't recognise. That might be the UCS one, but I don't think it is, so it's possible we could be seeing a new gunship coming up. This page is talking about the specialists, but there isn't a page talking about any of the brick builds that you can receive. So we'll quickly go through the comic. It's nothing special. They advertised the LEGO City magazine, which makes me think it's not selling well, which doesn't surprise me. LEGO City isn't exactly their most popular theme. It's just, they've remade everything so much that LEGO City, it's kind of just become stagnant now. LEGO Star Wars is their best selling theme. However, this does talk about in the end next month's magazine, which is going to be a Darth Vader tin. We think it will come with a Darth Vader figure, as you can see there, but it's possible it won't, so be wary of that. Otherwise, there's nothing special in the magazine. If I go through the minifigure version, it's going to be the exact same. I can show you basically every page, and it's going to be identical to what we got in that other one. The magazine doesn't change, it's just the bag on the front that you get, which is different. Huge problem now, as you can see, the problem is that when you get a brick built set, it usually tells you in the magazine where you build them. I noticed this with the Imperial shuttle that I've got sitting down there on my shelf. But it won't in this one, so if you've bought one of these and it comes with a brick built poly bag, I have bad news for you. It's not going to tell you how to build it, which is a huge L. But fear not, my industrious little fellows, there is a solution. If you go onto a website called lego.com, you can see the instructions for the LEGO sets that are made. But wait, you can't see the poly bags on there. Don't worry, there's an even better solution. Lego.com will tell you the instructions for main sets. However, if you go onto Bricklink, you can see the instructions for everything, including these poly bags. So don't worry, if you don't know how to build the poly bag that you get on the front of your magazine, go on to bricklink.com. I'll link it in the description of this video. You go onto there, and that will tell you what the instructions are for the poly bag you want to build. Alright, we've talked about the book long enough. The book isn't that special. Let's talk about the actual poly bag. Poly bag. I thought I didn't get a gun in it for a second. Oh, technically, guns in Star Wars are called blasters. So, something I'm going to point out now. The little visor you get for your clone trooper, that does not come in a plastic bag like it usually would. It actually comes as just a separate little piece that's good for the environment, but it does mean that it's a bit more likely to break in the bag. You should be a bit aware of that, because if it does break in the bag, LEGO does not usually repair or replace pieces from magazines. If you open a box and you find broken pieces, LEGO will usually replace it. However, in the magazine, LEGO does not guarantee that, so keep that in mind when you buy one of these. Alright, let's talk about the figure bags. So, for my example here, I'm going to use the Scout Trooper set. For those who don't know, this is the Scout Trooper that came in the 4+ LEGO set. it got quite heavily criticised for being overpriced. It was about £35, or about $45 if you're in the States, for a set that had roughly 200 pieces. It's a huge overprice. For about a third of the price, you can get a battle pack which has 2 more figures and half the pieces, and it looks a lot better, to be honest. These 4+ sets, they are usually incredibly overpriced. They don't usually sell very well. I don't know why LEGO's doing them, to be honest. Not many people are buying them. Sometimes people do because they don't have enough space to store a big X-Wing, so they'll get a little 4+ X-Wing, which is fair enough, but usually they don't sell well. So I imagine that what's going on here is that the 4+ set, they've retracted a load of them from stores, they've taken the Scout Trooper figure out of them, they've printed more poly bags, they've shoved them in the poly bags, and they've just put them out in the magazine, which would make sense. That was my initial expectation when I first saw the Scout Trooper magazine, because it was the first one I saw. Then I saw lots and lots of Y-Wings. I feel like it's more likely that these are just old poly bags that they were using up at the end of the production year. However, it is still possible that the Scout Trooper, for example, they just printed more bags, threw a load of these recalled figures into it, and were just sending them out. Which means that we could probably see an Ewok coming up in a later poly bag. But again, predicting these things isn't always that easy, so take that with a benefit of hindsight. Let's talk about the 501st Specialist now. This isn't a new figure. We saw it a while back in the 501st Battle Pack. This used to cost about £18 or about $23. However, if you look nowadays on shelves, you can usually find them for about $18, $20 kind of thing, or somewhere between £10 to £14. It's because the set's been out for a while. It is retiring this year. It's probably going to retire before Christmas. That wouldn't surprise me at all if it retires in the coming months. But a lot of places are lowering the price of them to clear it off the shelves. Places aren't restocking them anymore. It's a very old set. This is an old figure. Be aware. This does have the commonly hated helmet holes. I've got it turning around on screen at the moment, and it's probably just wrapped up now. So it does feature those helmet holes. A lot of people don't like that. I'm personally not bothered with it, but I can understand why people don't like it. They did it correctly with the old Clone Troopers from 2010. Then they switched to ones that didn't have helmet holes. Now they've added the helmet holes back, but they haven't got the actual helmet hole placement right. I can understand why people are upset, but to me it's not the biggest issue. My biggest issue currently is the price of these sets. A lot of sets are really overpriced nowadays. So, you know, I'm more concerned about that than if the minifigure I buy has a hole in the wrong place. Obviously, I'd be a bit more upset if the hole was in the front of the helmet, for example. But it's in the right place where they designed it to be. It's just not in the right place where it canonically should be. So it's just a small inaccuracy that upsets some fans. Doesn't bother me much, but I can understand why it does upset some. So you do have to keep that in mind. Otherwise, both of these figures are nicely detailed. They come with faces underneath. The faces aren't unique. The 501st Specialist comes with a normal Clone Trooper face, and the Scout Trooper just comes with quite a generic angry person looking face. You can kind of see it there on camera. My camera's not great if I hold things close up to it, and I probably didn't take his helmet off when I did that circle rotation earlier. But either way, the two figures that come in this poly bag are pretty cool, but now it's time that we look at the brick built version.